Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bib. I'm your host, Lisa Watkins, and I am once again delighted to be with you all this afternoon, this evening, this morning, during the workday, however you're listening to me. For those of you who have liked, followed, commented, thank you. Every single interaction helps me get this content in front of other people, other runners that might need some encouragement, other runners that just need something to listen to on their long run if they've gotten tired of their playlist on Spotify. Anyway, thanks so much for getting out there, doing the likes, doing the comments, doing the shares, all this stuff. It really has made a difference. I've noticed that I'm seeing a lot more interaction and a lot more engagement on my posts. So thank you. I appreciate it so very, very much. Okay, so this week, you guys are going to immediately notice that, man, I'm tired. I am tired this week, and you're going to find out why in just a minute. I'm going to tell you all the things, but man alive, I am beat. And it's just going to, I'm not going to be able to fake it. One of my things when I started this podcast is like, I am going to be 100% authentic. And so if I don't have time to do the hair and the things and then I'm not going to do it. And today I'm not going to try to fake that I'm tired. There are lots of stuff going on at the house, at the work, at the things, and we're in the crux of marathon training. So it's very, very hard to juggle all of the things right now, and the stress is just mounting up. So I'm not going to try to fake that I'm not struggling with some of these things because I really am. Thankfully, running helps, and we get out there and we do our runs, and then I always feel better afterwards. I may feel like utter crap during it, but I do feel better afterwards, and so I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for all the running buddies that keep slogging through the miles with me, even though we've all got life, and we've all got things, and we've all got the stress, and it's just a lot right now, So I did want to show you guys something. This is really super cool. Let me bring the camera up here so I can see what I'm looking at, or what you are looking at rather. Look at these. Check these out right here. So what I'm showing, if you're just listening to me, my friend Mina, she had some bib boards made for me. If you don't know what bib boards is, it's like these little punchy things that you use instead of safety pins for your bib, but like behind the bib. Anyway, she had the behind the bib logo put on the bib boards for me. So she got me a set, several sets actually. So Mina, if you're listening to this episode, thank you so much. This was one of the highlights of my week, and it was just it just made my week to see these. And back of the pack, you've got some on the way to you. So shout out to Kyle. You've got some. It should be hitting in your mailbox sometime soon. Okay, not only did we have that this past weekend, we had the Marshall Space Flight Center, the NASA Safety Day 5K out there. Shout out to Kim, who completed her first 5K. I am so proud of you. You did such a great job. She was feeling kind of spicy on some of the run parts when we were not, we took a couple of a few walk breaks during the 5K, and she was really strong. And so I think Kim has officially drank the Kool-Aid, and she's already signed up for her next 5K. So just keep the momentum, keep the Kool-Aid flowing, and keep showing up. And one day you're going to be like one of those runners that we were talking about that just makes it look so effortless. They're just out there running like little gazelles. And whenever you reach that point, let me know, because I would like to know as well, because I haven't reached that point yet. Okay, another big thing happened this past weekend, the Laz event. So we went up to Montesano State Park, and at the lodge on Sunday night, oh my God, y'all, I was so nervous. I didn't sleep for 3 days before. Oh my God, I was so nervous. But if you don't know, if you haven't been following me on social media, why aren't you, first of all? And if you are not, go follow me on social media, on all the things, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, all the stuff, because you would have known about this event. So I was very honored and terrified, and I think I phrased it like suffering from debilitating imposter syndrome that night, because I was in a room full of ultra runners. Can you imagine? Oh my God. Oof. Anyway, it was fine. It was fine. It was all fine. In the end, it was wonderful. I got to sit down and talk to Laz and to Jared Beasley. So this is the book. I'm going to show it to you right now. This book is called The Endurance Artist by Jared Beasley. And Jared is actually from our area, from Decatur area. And I moderated a discussion between Jared and Laz, who is AKA the Leonardo da Vinci of pain. And honestly, it was like, it's got to be one of the highlights of my running career, just to have, I don't know, just not only to have met them, but just to have been there present as Laz is just dropping these crazy, I don't know, this wisdom. He just shows up in this guy. He's just like this little unassuming gentleman, white shirt, button up, red checkered flannel on the top of it, and just dropping these little wisdom tweet things. And it was just so incredible to sit there and just listen to the discussion between Laz and between Jared. Jared had to go through some things to get up to the Barclay to interview him. And it was like he told the whole story, and it was fabulous. I've got to say, that was like, it honestly was one of the highlights of my running career so far. But, and again, if you don't follow me on social media, you don't know what I'm talking about. But I've done the dumbest thing. Oh my God, I could have kicked myself 1,000,000 times over. I was so excited. I purchased 4 books. So I purchased one for myself, for Lisa. I purchased 2 to give away on Behind the Bib podcast. And then I purchased another one for a gentleman there who does a lot of volunteering for our community. And I said, hey, this is my gift to you. So my intention was to get all 4 books, well, 3 of mine, all 3 books signed. And so I put my stack in front of Jared, and Jared signs the book. And like, so here's one of them, Behind the Bib. Thank you for making this such a special night. Oh my God, how cool is that? So Jared signs them all, and then we go, and there's like pictures being taken. So we all stand up, and then we go over and we take pictures with Laz and Jared. And then at the same time, Jared's wife slides a stack of books over to Jared to start signing. So then Jared starts signing the books, and then he slides that stack of books over to Laz, and then Laz hops over and starts signing that stack of books, right? And then I didn't realize that Laz never got to my stack of books. And so we were just chit-chatting on the way out and blah, blah, blah. Okay, bye, guys. Thanks for everything. Love you all. It's been a great night. Okay, bye. We leave, we go home, and then I get home and I get my books out because I want to show my husband and my mother-in-law, who now lives with us, that story is coming, my signatures. Well, it turns out I opened the book. Just Jared had signed the books. I didn't make sure that Laz had signed my books before I left. And I thought, oh my God, that's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. And I've done some pretty dumb shit in my life. And I thought, oh my God. Anyway, so I had tossed around the idea of driving up to the Barclay Fall Classic, which is just outside of Knoxville at Frozen Head State Park there in Tennessee. It's about 3 hours away from Huntsville, right? It's like, oh my God, it's been such a hard week. Am I going to drive 3 hours up to Knoxville and then turn around and drive back? Am I going to spend the night? Am I going to try to do my long run out there? I don't know. I don't want to do 14 miles by myself. I'd like to do it with my run buddies. I am not going to drive up to Nashville to get my books signed, and there's a reason why. I'll go into that in just a minute. Okay, but that's a quick recap of the event. It was at Montesano State Park. It was absolutely beautiful. That lodge up there is just historic and rustic, and I just love all the things about it. What was most beautiful, though, was the community that showed up. to support Laz, to support Jared, and to support the work that Suzanne, the owner of Fleet Feet, brings to this community. It's just incredible to have this show up here for our local runners. It was packed. The room was packed. It was standing room only. We had food brought up from like Taco Mama, and folks were getting food, but then like it was standing room only, and it was fantastic. Okay. So I said congratulations to everyone that ran the Safety Day 5K out there at Marshall Space Flight Center. I also wanted to say quick congratulations to new running buddy, bestie Jess, on her Rails to Recovery 5K. So this is the second, I think she said this was the second year that they have done a 5K in conjunction with the Hartselle Depot Days down there in Hartselle, Alabama. And I was looking through all of the pictures on Facebook, and it was fabulous. It looked absolutely fabulous. Just the emotion that was in the air, you could just see it in the pictures, like this 5K wasn't just a little community run. Not that there's anything wrong with little community runs, but this 5K meant something. And I wanted to give a hats off to Jess. Good job, girl. Like you have turned that into something that really benefits the community, and you could just see the bonds that were being made, the vulnerability that was being shown as one of your speakers was talking about her journey. It was just, I wasn't there, but I really want to be next year, and I could just tell from the pictures it had to have been a very, very touching morning. So congratulations, hats off to you. Great job. Keep up the good work, okay? All right, speaking of going off the rails, let's talk about training, and let me tell you a little story. So, my husband is from central Kentucky. Up there in the mountains of Kentucky, it's absolutely, positively beautiful. It's rolling hills, it's mountains, it's horses, it's white picket fences, although he didn't have a white picket fence. He grew up on a tobacco farm. So his father passed a couple of years ago, and he was a wonderful man with twinkling blue eyes, and he didn't have a lot to say, but he would just giggle, and it was just awesome. So I lost my father-in-law about 2 years ago. Well, his mother hasn't been doing very well since, and we had noticed there was a decline in some cognition, some cognitive ability to remember things, she was getting confused, having trouble driving, just some stuff that was causing us to pay a little bit more closer attention. And then we knew that we were going to be moving her down here before long. We thought we had a couple more months. Turns out we didn't have a couple months. So my husband got a phone call on Monday. This was the Monday before the Laz event. He got a phone call before the Laz event. The local police, a town over from his town, had found his mom, that she had driven a car over there, and she didn't know where she was. She had thought that she had a doctor's appointment in that town, and the police, she didn't have a doctor's appointment in the town, and she didn't know where she was, and she didn't know how to get home. And so we were afraid of something like this happening before we had the opportunity to move her down here. We were trying to get things settled, like the room set up and all that stuff. And this is all like the life behind the scenes that you don't get to see, that I don't talk about on here, but I'm telling you about it now because it ties into what I'm going to talk about next. So all of this stuff happened, and we had to essentially drop everything. So he had to drop everything from work, and drive to central Kentucky and pack her entire life up and bring her down here to Alabama. Now, this sweet little lady has spent most of her life on a farm in central Kentucky, and we're moving her to Rocket City, Alabama. This is a city, even though I say y'all and bless your hearts and all that kind of stuff, we are one of the largest research parks in the world. Per capita PhDs is like off the charts. I think we're number 3, I think, in the per capita PhDs. So this is we are a bubble in Alabama, and it is a city, and it's a huge transition for her. And so my husband and I are kind of like taking turns, like he'll telework some from home, I'll telework some from home, we'll take off leave. So we're just really trying to get her settled in and feeling good, because all of this stuff is so very scary for them, right? And so we're trying to make it as easy as possible. Now, in light of all that, where has my training gone? Well, when you're having to make choices between, I've got to go to work, I've got to feed the dogs, I have a commitment to this podcast that I made at the first of the year, and I'm training for a marathon, and my husband is out of town, and now we have to get Arlene set up in her bedroom and, make sure that she's safe and make sure that she's emotionally secure and feeling in a safe space there. So there's just a lot going on right now. So the training took a little bit of a hit over the past week. And a shout out to the running buddies, because they're always wonderful and they understand, and we can just pick right back up when we get back to it. So today I wanted to talk, boy, that was such a long introduction. It's like a 3-hour movie long introduction. All of that was to say, today I want to talk about what happens when your training goes off the rails, right? When life just happens, when life lifes, and you get sick, you have to move a mother-in-law in, you have a big storm, hurricanes come through like Mac in North Carolina and devastated her town. It makes workouts impossible. I have to travel like the entire month of November, essentially. I'm on travel. So what do you do when all of this stuff happens? Runners tend to be a little stubborn when it comes to like nursing an injury, or I'm not that sick, or like all of the things that get us up day after day after day, and tying our shoes and lacing up and putting the stupid sports bra on day after day after day. Those are the same things that can maybe get us into a little bit of trouble if we don't give ourselves a little bit of grace when life lives, So when life goes off the rails and you're having to take care of 40 million other things, and marathon training or half marathon training or hell, 5K training is just not at the top of your list, you need to alter your schedule and make those changes, because it's a plan for a reason. It's called a plan for a reason. Right? You can change the plan. You can amend the plan. Just keep in mind that it's progress and not perfection, as long as you're still putting your personal best effort forward, as long as you're still putting those coins in the coin jar, the hay in the barn, the cookies in the cookie jar is my current favorite. Just keep all of that in mind. And if you're using like an AI, like I love the AI backed apps too. Like I'm a big AI adopter. I love all of the things. And I love the Run It app. I use it personally because of the variability in the workouts. I really love them. But y'all, you got to put some human intelligence behind that. If your Run It app is saying that you've got to do 4 tempo runs or whatever this week and a 21-mile long run on Saturday, but you know that you have got 3 hours this week to run and that's it, you got to put some human intelligence behind it. So you may need to adjust your training if you're sick, if stress and life is lifing and you're constantly worn down, if you're like, you've got a little niggling injury and when it's more than just a something, right? If it's there for more than a few days, more than a few runs, you got something going on. You need to rest. You need to get that checked out. And I am 1000% not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. I don't play one on this podcast. So if you've got an injury, don't listen to me. Go consult your doctor. Go consult your physical therapist. Go get the people that actually went to school to learn about the stuff to help you get better, right? Go do that. Okay, back to what I was saying. Training can get thrown off because you're sick, or maybe you are sick, you're worn down, you've got pain in an area that shouldn't be paining, that your non-running life, right? Like this should be life with a side of running and not running with a side of life, and we often get those things swapped. So if that's excessively stressful, like see the above story that I was just telling you about. if weather prohibits like running outside safely, like maybe you're training you could be listening to this during the wintertime and there's like sheets of ice outside your front door. Just like a couple of winters ago in Alabama, we were literally had sheets of ice. Nobody could go anywhere for a week. It was crazy. Anyway, life happens, weather happens. Injuries happen, sickness happen. You have to give yourself some grace. You have to amend your plan, and you've got to use some intelligence when you're thinking about, do I, just pick back up? Well, my long run was 7 miles last time. I'm pretty sure I can pick back up on that 14-mile long run. No, you can't. Don't do that. You're going to get hurt. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit. In my opinion, and, in the opinions of a lot of people that I've talked to, you've got a few types of quality runs that you're going to be wanting to do during the week as you're building up mileage towards your marathon. You've got your tempo runs, you've got your track runs or your hill repeats, and the other quality run that you're going to be doing is, of course, your long run, right? The long, slow, easy conversational pace where you're just getting time on your feet, coins in the coin jar, every week, and it's just ticking up ever so slightly every week, no more than like 10% a week, right? And a 10% increase per week. So you've got your long run. If you have to sit down and start making choices, okay, this week I've got time for 3 runs instead of 5 runs, then keep some quality runs, but keep your long run. You may have a few more conversational pace runs out there, like a 4 or 5 or 6 mile run sometime other during the week. In my opinion, keep that long run, and then if you can keep one of the other 2 quality runs, whether it's a tempo run or whether it's a track repeat run or if it's a hill repeat. Like myself personally, when I'm looking at my schedule, I'm like, I cannot fit all of this in. So I keep my long run and I keep a quality run, and I try to keep a weight training session, like a strength training session, so that I'm still continuing to do that strength training. Here's the other thing. So if you're supposed to get like 25, 30 miles this week, say you're supposed to get, let's keep the numbers round, you're supposed to get 30 miles this week. Your planned mileage is still and you know that you're not going to be able to get 30 miles. 30 miles is ridiculous. Let's lower that. 20 miles. Let's say 20 miles, right? So I know I'm not going to get 20 miles this week, but what can I get? Can I get 13 miles? Can I lower my long run? Maybe I don't have time to do a 14-mile long run on Saturday. Maybe I do a 10-mile long run on Saturday, and I back some of the other miles up into the rest of the week. It's called a plan for a reason. Life happens. You've got to amend your plan. So I would advise just taking a look at your plan. Now, if you are consistently not meeting anywhere close to your plan, I would investigate your plan. Is your plan too aggressive? Are you a beginner and you're on an advanced plan or something like that? Just make sure your plan is the right level for you. And if life is just lifing too hard and this is not going to fit your life for this fall or for the spring or for whenever it is, take a look at that. It's better to amend the plan and race another day than to try to press something, get injured, and not be able to race for 6 months or a year, right? Here's the other thing. Giving your personal best effort, and it will go much better than if you beat yourself up about not hitting a certain pace or getting 2 to 3 miles less than what was on your training plan. This is the way I look at it. If I come home from my run and I look, and Garmin just thinks that I'm a trash runner. So every time it's like underperforming or overreaching, or recovery is like 72 hours or something like that. It's crazy. So when I get home, I look at, as runners, we all love the stats, right? We all love data. We obsess over all of it. In the end, though, when you sit down and you look inside and then you think about your run, did you give your personal best effort? Did you give your personal best effort that day, that week, that training block? And if you gave your personal best effort, what more could you have possibly given? Nothing. You gave 100% of what you have. That's all that you can ask for, right? So give yourself some grace. Coach Bennett is one of my favorite. Like, I just love the Coach Bennett isms. Every now and then I'll pull out the Nike Run app. That's actually how I first got into running, was the Nike Run app. And I would just put Coach Bennett on in my headphones or whatever and listen to him. And it was so funny. In my head, I had made up the way this guy looked. But then I started watching his Instagram reels, and those two things did not meet up at all. Cognitive dissonance. Like, it did not. It was so funny. Anyway, I digress. So Coach Bennett has some ideas on how to get your plan or get back on track with your marathon training, and it agrees with a lot of mine. So first of all, plans are flexible. These are best case scenarios, not rigid rules, and life happens. It's life with a side of running, not running with a side of life. You heard me say that before. Aim for consistency over perfection. It's more important to do something towards your running goals than nail every single workout perfectly. Small efforts. Need to get 6 miles in, but don't have the time. Get 3 in that morning and 3 in that night. It's the mileage within 24 hours on your legs that really makes a difference. Sometimes we'll even sandwich our long runs, like we'll do a long run on Saturday and then we'll do another run on Sunday, so that you have the feeling of running on tired legs, because by golly, that's going to happen, and you need to know how to handle it when you're out there on the marathon and your legs feel like concrete blocks. Also, Coach Bennett says, do the run you can do. If you can't get 20 miles in, get 15. Or move your long run to another day and shift around the shorter workouts to allow your legs time to recover after those quality sessions. All right. And finally, Coach Bennett says, listen to your body. Don't grind or push too hard when your body needs rest. Smart training knows when to take it easy as well. Those were some ideas on the philosophy behind this. What are some actionable things we can do? Number 1, adjust your expectations. Please, dear God, let go of that idea of perfection. You're talking to a perfectionist. Well, you're not talking to me. You are listening to a perfectionist. And so this is 100% the pot calling the kettle black. I get it. I try very, very hard to do this, though. And I really try to put this into practice in my everyday life and in my running as well. Let go of the idea of perfection. Do not let perfection be the enemy of progress. There can and will be setbacks. Just pick back up. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some forgiveness. You don't need forgiveness. You didn't do anything wrong. Life is just life. Just be careful not to add too much mileage back, because you might get in trouble and just get injured, okay? So step back in where you were and just pick it right back up like nothing ever happened, okay? And if you've been gone too long, though, you might need to back up a little bit and then ease back into your runs. But again, listen to your body. I'm not a doctor. Go see actual doctors if things are happening. Do a modified version of the plan run if you're fighting off a sickness. If you can't, like if you physically don't feel like you can do a 40-minute threshold run, do a 40-minute conversational pace run. Or if you're like you're constrained on time and you can't do a 40-minute threshold run, do a 20-minute threshold run, right? It's a plan, not a commandment, and it's 100% of the run you can do, right? You amend the plan to make it fit your life, okay? Also, stay positive. This is a huge part of mindset. We all know how important that self-talk is, especially when you're like button nose up against the brick wall at mile 22 or so. It matters what is going on in your brain. So just keep putting cookies in the cookie jar, hay in the barn, coins in the coin jar. They'll be there when it's time to empty it out at the race. All right? Seek structure and guidance. Use resources like the Nike training app. Return to Sport has some coaching that they have started. Fleet Feet has training programs with the resources as well. They have a free 5K training program now, by the way. I said earlier that I love the Runner app. I know some people hate it, but I love the variable workouts that they have. But remember, you have to put some human intelligence behind that artificial intelligence, right? And I take that and I blend it with other workouts that I love, like the ladder and hill repeats that I don't get in the Runna app. They just don't put them in there. Also, remember your overall goal. This is to build consistency and add mileage slowly. No more, like I said earlier, no more than about 10% increase per week in your overall mileage each week. So just keep showing up as consistently as you can. Ease back into your plan. Be sure to not overdo it when you're coming back in, and give yourself some grace. It's going to be fine. So let your body rest when it needs to. Know that when life lives, we've got to be flexible. We've got to amend our plans. We got to move workouts around. And we have to understand we get sick. We have to go out of town on travel. We are not eating the best that we can eat that week. We don't have access to the same kinds of foods or routines or whatever. We have to give ourselves some grace on this. And when you get back and things will settle down, you will handle all this stuff. Just get back on track the next time you get a chance, and good things will happen. And you will toe the start line just like you have always done, right? Okay, so I challenge you to give yourself some grace the next time that you don't hit a pace or you don't hit your weekly mile goal because you were on travel or had family commitments. Just realize, if you gave 100% of your personal best effort, and that might change from week to week, by the way, just pick back up where you left off. Don't try to add a whole bunch of miles back all at the same time if you've taken a significant break. And if your training just goes way off the rails, this may not be the race for you. The universe might just know something that you don't, okay? I'm not saying to give up. I'm just saying take an honest look. And if you've missed 7 out of the last 10 workouts and you're on a 12-week plan or something like that, just take an honest look and see if you're ready, okay? Are you building up the mileage safely in the manner in which you need to build them up? If not, pick another race. It doesn't have to be this race. It can be another race, okay? Just come back slowly. If you've come back, and try not to add too much back all at one time. If your 7-mile run was, if you left off at a 7-mile run, don't try to come back and do a 20-mile long run. That is a recipe for disaster and for injury, and you will end up in the physical therapist office. It's better to race another day than to get that run in today when the systems are performing nominally. Okay? All right, folks. So, told you a little bit about why my training has gone off the rails a little bit lately and what I intend to do. So we have switched around our long runs. We have scaled some runs back. This week I hope to be back with my normal long run of, I think we've got 14 miles on the schedule. So I will come back next week and tell y'all how that all came out. Because if I know anything, stress can definitely affect many systems in your runs. And if you don't believe me, go listen to the Back of the Pack right now. He is doing a whole series on how stress affects your running. And he's kind of breaking it down, like how it affects your cardiovascular system, how it affects your pulmonary system. So it's really interesting. So if you want to find out more about how stress affects your whole body and your running, go listen to the Back of the Pack Second Wind series where he goes through and breaks it all down for you. I'm learning a lot, and I bet you will too. All right, folks, let's talk about some upcoming local races. We've got the Quantina M. Walliver Poker Run. I hope I'm saying that right. That's on September 28th. We've got the Liz Hurley Ribbon Run, one of the best 5Ks in Huntsville. If it's not the best 5K in the Huntsville, it's one of my favorites. Anytime I get to dress up in pink and put pink glitter on my face and in my hair and all the things, then that's going to be a solid win for me. Also coming up, October 25th is the Helping Hands Half Marathon, 5K, and like I said, a half marathon. And then we get into the November running with the Knights of Columbus Tootsie Roll 5K, the Huntsville Half Marathon, the Danbridge Run 10K, and the Rocket City Marathon Weekend, which is out in December. All right, folks, if you want to find out what other local races are coming up or maybe what run groups, I saw another post today. It's like, hey, is there any groups meeting in the morning? Why, they sure are. But if you want a whole list of all the run clubs and all of the weekly runs and all the races coming up, head over to HuntsvilleRuns.com to get all of your local run updates. They are delivered to your email every Sunday evening by the always amazing Will Nevin. Doesn't cost a dime. You just go over there, plug your email address in, and he will shoot you a run on Sunday night as well. And there are a ton of runs for you to choose from. Okay. Y'all stay cool out there. False fall came, and now extended summer is here. It was 90-something degrees to get today once again. So extended summer is hanging out like a hair in a biscuit. It is just not going anywhere for the time being. So stay cool out there on the long runs this weekend. Remember to hydrate. Remember to take your salt before, take your salt after. I guarantee you will feel better. And use some of those summer running tips like using the ice and all that stuff. Be sure to take care of yourself because it's not quite fall yet. But I have faith that the cooler weather will be right around the corner. I've actually noticed the trees that have started changing color just a little bit. So it's almost here. Okay, if you would, go over to Instagram, hit like, follow, do all the things on Behind the Bib podcast. Also check out Behind the Bib on Facebook, Behind the Bib on YouTube. Okay, y'all. Let's keep showing up for one another, whether you are first, last, or somewhere in between. I'll see you next time. We're Behind the Bib. Y'all take care. Bye-bye. You've been listening to Behind the Bib, where we have real talk for every runner.